Dry fasting is one of the most powerful yet misunderstood practices in the world of health, healing, and human transformation. Unlike water fasting, where you abstain from food but continue drinking water, dry fasting takes the process further by removing all intake, no food and no water. To most people, this sounds extreme or even dangerous. But the truth is, dry fasting has been practiced for thousands of years across cultures, spiritual disciplines, and healing traditions. The difference today is that science is beginning to catch up with what ancient healers already knew. When you remove food and water, something extraordinary begins to happen inside the body. It enters a state of accelerated healing, deep purification, and energetic reset that is rarely accessible in normal conditions. On a cellular level, dry fasting activates a process known as autophagy, which means self-digestion. The body begins to clean out damaged cells, broken proteins, viral fragments, and toxic waste that is accumulated over time. Without water entering the system, cells are forced to become ultra-efficient. They recycle their own fluids internally and operate with precision. This internal drying out of weak or toxic elements creates an environment where only the strongest, cleanest, and most functional cells survive. That is why dry fasting is often referred to as biological surgery. No scalpels, no drugs. Just the body returning to its original intelligence. One of the most fascinating aspects of dry fasting is what happens to inflammation. Inflammatory conditions, from joint pain to skin breakouts to gut irritation, often reduce or disappear entirely after a short dry fast. This is not magic. This is the immune system recalibrating itself in the absence of external input. Without food or water to process, the body finally has the space to heal. Inflammation is a sign of stress and imbalance. When you stop adding stress through digestion and hydration, the body begins to cool down internally, even though it may feel like it is heating up during the fast. Fat metabolism also accelerates during dry fasting. Since no glucose or water is entering, the body switches into deep fat-burning mode. Fat cells are broken down to provide fuel, and in this process, metabolic water is created. Yes, the body makes its own water from fat. This is a well-documented survival mechanism in both humans and animals. Camels, for example, survive long desert journeys by breaking down fat to release water internally. The same process occurs in the human body, but only under very specific conditions, dry fasting being the most potent among them. The hormonal shifts during dry fasting are equally profound. Insulin drops sharply, which resets insulin sensitivity. Human growth hormone increases, aiding in repair and preservation of muscle tissue. Cortisol may rise temporarily, not as a danger signal, but as a mobilizer of energy and mental clarity. Many people report a feeling of heightened awareness, stillness, and focus during dry fasts. This is partly due to elevated norepinephrine and dopamine levels in the brain. These neurotransmitters enhance alertness, motivation, and mood regulation. You are not simply starving. You are entering a state of biological enhancement through subtraction. What also makes dry fasting so unique is that the body enters what can be called a fire state. This means it generates internal heat to compensate for the absence of water. You may feel warm, especially in the liver and kidneys. This is the fire of metabolic transformation. The body is burning away impurities at a rate that water fasting simply cannot match. While water fasting is gentle and sustainable over longer periods, dry fasting is short, sharp, and surgical. You must respect it. Beginners should not attempt more than 12 to 16 hours without experience. A full 24 dry fast is often enough to activate deep healing. Advanced practitioners may go 48 to 72 hours, but only with proper preparation and refeeding. Speaking of refeeding, this is where many make mistakes. The post-dry fast phase must be handled with care. The body is extremely sensitive. You must break your dry fast gently. Start with a few sips of warm water, followed by juicy fruits like watermelon or oranges. Avoid heavy, fatty, or processed foods. The digestive fire needs time to restart. Think of it like rekindling a small flame. You do not dump logs on it immediately. You feed it slowly. When done right, refeeding after a dry fast becomes an experience of deep gratitude. Food tastes more alive. Water feels like a gift. Every bite and sip becomes a prayer. This is part of the spiritual power of dry fasting. It reconnects you to the simplicity and sacredness of life. From a spiritual perspective, dry fasting has been used by monks, yogis, prophets, and shamans for centuries. The absence of food and water quiets the body and silences the mind. The ego becomes weaker. Desires calm down. A deeper intelligence begins to speak. People often report vivid dreams, emotional releases, and spontaneous clarity about life decisions during dry fasts. Some call it divine connection. Others call it inner alignment. Whatever name you use, the experience is real. There is a reason fasting is part of nearly every spiritual tradition on earth. It creates space, physical, mental, and emotional, for something higher to enter. Now let us talk about safety. Dry fasting is not for everyone. It should not be attempted by those with kidney issues, uncontrolled blood pressure, severe diabetes, or chronic dehydration. Pregnant or breastfeeding women should not dry fast. Children should not dry fast. Elderly should approach it with caution and supervision. You must also be mentally prepared. This is not about willpower alone. It is about understanding what your body is doing and working with it, not against it. Symptoms like dry mouth, slight dizziness, or fatigue are normal in the early stages. But if you feel severe discomfort, confusion, or rapid heartbeat, it is time to break the fast. There is no shame in listening to your body. In fact, that is the entire point of fasting, to learn how to hear the whispers of your system before they become screams. Hydration before the fast is crucial. You want your cells fully nourished and your electrolytes balanced. Drink plenty of mineral-rich water and eat hydrating fruits the day before. This gives your body the resources it needs to sustain itself. Some people choose to do a water fast or juice cleanse before transitioning into dry fasting. This is wise. It gently prepares the system and reduces detox symptoms. The cleaner your lifestyle before the fast, the smoother the experience. Dry fasting also affects the gut microbiome. In the absence of food and water, harmful bacteria and yeast begin to die off. The terrain changes. This is especially beneficial for people dealing with bloating, candida overgrowth, or leaky gut. The fasting state gives your gut a chance to repair and reset. Combined with a mindful refeeding protocol, you can cultivate a whole new digestive ecosystem after even a short dry fast. Many people also report enhanced skin clarity, reduced joint pain, sharper vision, and more vibrant energy after a single day of dry fasting. These are not miracles. They're the natural side effects of removing what does not belong and allowing the body to do what it was designed to do, heal itself. The modern world is overloaded with stimulation. Food is everywhere. Water is taken for granted. Dry fasting is the ultimate pause button. It says stop. It says reset. It says listen. During the fast, it helps to stay quiet. Reduce activity. Stay away from electronics. Spend time in nature. Meditate. Journal. Observe. You may feel waves of emotion rise to the surface. Old thoughts, regrets, anger, sadness. These are not distractions. These are part of the purge. As the body cleans out physical toxins, the mind begins to release psychological ones. Let them come. Let them go. You are not just cleansing the body. You are cleansing the soul. One of the greatest gifts of dry fasting is the clarity it gives you. Life decisions become obvious. Patterns that no longer serve you come into full view. It becomes easier to break habits and addictions because you are not suppressing emotions with food or water. You are facing yourself raw and real. And in that rawness, you find strength. If you want to dive deeper into dry fasting, learn advanced protocols, ask questions, and be supported by a real community of people walking the path, make sure to join the Telegram channel linked in the description below. This is where we share daily insights, personal experiences, and guidance for every stage of your fasting journey. Dry fasting is not for everyone. But if you feel called, it can be one of the most transformative decisions of your life. It is not about suffering. It is about surrender. It is not about denial. It's about discovery. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to go long. Even 12 hours of dry fasting once a week can begin to change your body, your mind, and your relationship to life itself. You begin to realize that most of the things you thought were necessary were simply distractions. In the absence of consumption, consciousness expands. You become more alive, not less. So the next time you feel stuck, sluggish, or disconnected, consider this. Maybe your body does not need more. Maybe it needs less. Maybe what you are looking for is already inside you, just waiting for silence, stillness, and space to reveal itself. Dry fasting is the key that unlocks that space. And once you step into it, you may never see yourself the same way again.